Hey everyone, welcome back to Series 3, Episode 12. This one is close to our hearts because it's something our clients struggle with and something we've wrestled with too. It's this frustrating question: why do some coping skills seem to do nothing at all? Or worse, why do they sometimes make us feel even more overwhelmed?
Seriously, it's the kind of thing that can make people feel broken, like they're doing something wrong, or like they're the problem, right? Or maybe therapy just doesn't work for them. But today, we want to talk about why that is absolutely not true. Why you are not broken, why the skill itself might not be landing, not because you failed, but because your nervous system needs something different.
We're going to break down what top-down and bottom-up tools actually are, why breath work and journaling might not always cut it, and what it means to work with your body in a way that actually supports healing. We'll give you a solid tool to try, and as always, we'll slow things down with a nervous system nugget too.
Let's get into it. Wherever you are right now, just take a second to notice your body. Is there one place that feels just a little more grounded? Maybe it's the back of your legs. Maybe it's your elbow on a desk. Maybe it's the way your breath is moving. Just notice. Remember, you don't have to change it.
And if noticing the body doesn't feel accessible right now, maybe you just name something in your space. Something you can see or feel. Let yourself arrive in this moment in whatever way works for you.
So let's talk about the coping skills that don't always hit. You've probably heard the go-to list. Deep breaths, journaling, my personal favorite, positive self-talk.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that could be a whole episode too, right? So those things, they can be absolutely supportive, however, not all the time. And of course, not for everyone.
Especially not when your nervous system is flooded, right? When you're in a fight, flight, freeze, or even a fawn state, certain parts of your brain go offline.
Pause just for a sec, Robin. What's a fawn state? Just for our listeners in case they don't know.
Sure, great question. So a fawn state is when we are faced with any kind of threat, and that can be very different for everybody, as I'm sure we are all aware. And in a fawn state, you tend to, for lack of a better word, I think, appease that person that is causing that threat to you. And so
Right.
that might look like you doing something in the moment that you wouldn't normally do when you were fully aware of what you were doing. So that could look like agreeing with somebody that it's threatening to you, or being kind, being nice instead of being on the defense.
Would you say people pleasing falls into this category?
I would absolutely say people pleasing falls into this category. It's a survival state.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Thank you for pausing. So certain parts of your brain are going to go offline. Your prefrontal cortex. And remember, that's that front part of your brain that allows you to make meaning. So that part, again, that helps you reason and regulate. And that's why telling yourself to just calm down can feel useless or even triggering.
Exactly. That's where these bottom up tools come in. These are strategies that start with the body to shift the brain. Things like movement, sound, rhythm, or even cold water can help send a signal to the nervous system that it's safe enough to settle.
Right? We've both seen clients who say, I tried what my last therapist told me and I still panicked. And we get it. That's why this conversation matters, because you're not failing. The tool just might not be aligned with what your nervous system needs in that moment.
I think I was talking about this yesterday in life, just like, wow, what if I needed one kind of screwdriver, but I was continuously trying to use the, Phillips and flathead, for example. And it's like, nope, sorry, you're just going to have to do with that flathead. And I keep looking at this Phillips screw like, okay, all right, I'm going to have to believe what you say.
Yeah,
It's just noticing, is this the actual if most effective tool for what's happening right now in this moment, not for all time, but just this moment. And so that's where trauma informed work really truly matters. If somebody does have that history of trauma, especially complex trauma, they may need a totally different kind of support. What feels soothing to one person might feel activating to somebody else. And I have actually seen this in a variety of sessions. So it is definitely on target.
absolutely. I think that I've definitely seen that when you ask somebody to meditate, and the idea of sitting with your own thoughts can be absolutely terrifying to someone when they don't have that anchor for safety.
Right. It is frightening, and I can see why people don't return to certain things, and then that belief of this didn't work for me, so probably nothing will.
Yeah. And, sometimes even the word coping can feel like pressure. Like if we can't regulate right now, we're doing something wrong. But, the truth is regulation is a capacity that we build, not a switch we flip. And it's not always possible to do it alone.
Like that we continuously remind people like it's okay to not do this alone. In fact, it makes sense. We want to normalize the idea that nervous system healing, this isn't about fixing. It's about tuning in and getting curious. I like to even tell my people, we're going to recalibrate that. Okay. We're going to help attune you to you and develop that self. It's about co regulation and finding what works for your body and knowing that trial and error, it's part of the process. That's kind of how we learn.
Right. And here's what this can look like in real life. This week, I had a client who kept saying, I'm doing all the right things, but I still feel numb. And together we realized she was trying to use a top down strategy, reframing her thoughts when what she really needed was a bottom up cue. We tried some very gentle movement together, just shifting weight side to side while seated, and just having that awareness, that tiny shift. It really allowed her to feel some kind of joy, because it finally helped her feel something, and just building upon that, allowing her to have agency in that moment. From there, she could start really coming back into her body when she gave herself that power.
The coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so here is your nervous system nugget. When the body feels safe, the brain can learn. This is the essence of bottom up healing. We need to feel our way into regulation, not just think our way into it.
So if you've ever felt like nothing's working, try starting with the body. Not to override the mind, but to support it. You're not broken. Your nervous system is just asking for a different kind of support. This week's tool is the VOO sound. Now, it might sound a little odd at first, but it's simple. This is a body-based way to stimulate your vagus nerve. It works by activating the vagus nerve, which plays a major role in regulating the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of us that helps calm things down after stress. When we engage the vagus nerve, we can help shift out of survival mode and into a state of safety and connection.
The VOO sound is a low, extended vocalization that vibrates your chest and stimulates the vagus nerve. So just take a breath in, and then on the exhale, you say VOO. So I'm going to try it. Do that in a long, slow tone until you essentially run out of air.
You should feel it resonate in your chest. It helps shift your system toward ventral vagal regulation, which is the state of safety, connection, and calm. We are able to socially engage by maybe making eye contact, sharing laughter, physical touch that's safe, things like that.
Yes, this is great when you're feeling shut down or disconnected. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in your car, your kitchen, even your closet, if that's where you need to be.
100%, no shame, no judgment. You go where you need to go to help yourself out. I would much rather that, because maybe people are like, this is weird. This is strange. I don't know about this. And I go, yes, but think of the alternative. I feel like that is outdated. Let's try this out, because that has clearly not worked. And if it was going to work, it probably would have worked by now. So I want you to try it a few times, and don't worry if it feels weird or if you don't feel instant relief. Remember repetition and felt experience. That's how healing sticks. And my sister used to say, when something fabulous, she would say, it's only awkward if you make it. Me too.
Next time, we're diving into something we know so many of you are feeling, and that's burnout. We're going to talk about what it does to the brain and the body, and also how we can recover without the shame or pressure to bounce back too quickly.
Yes. I don't know where this rule book is that says you got to just be over it and bounce back like a rubber ball.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about stress cycles, depletion, and what true restoration actually looks like. Until then, take care of your nervous system and be gentle with your process. And remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. Thanks for sitting with us today. If something resonated, we'd love it if you shared the episode, left a review, or connected with us on social media. We're two therapists walk into a podcast on most platforms. You can listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not therapy, does not replace therapy, and does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you're in crisis, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional or call 988 in the US Robin Green is a licensed therapist in Arizona, and Stephanie Edsall is licensed in Utah. And this podcast is intended for a general audience.